feels like the end of the season already, although it isn't. There's still playoffs going on, but I'm still looking forward to next season already. Only in Speedway. Good evening and welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Hello, taverners. What were you doing then? What was going on? That was a very long introduction.
Oh, no, yes. I'm not ready.
Wake up.
I'm not ready. Sorry.
I have to say that was without a doubt the worst introduction I've done all year. I can't tell our viewer what it was that you called it. But rhymes with Rolex, I think we'll say. Yeah. Welcome everyone. Excited? Playoff time?
Yes, it's always a good time of the year, especially when your club's involved. So.
Yes, all right, we're going to rub that in. Yeah. Not going to be involved for long though, are you?
I don't think I think you never know. I'm sceptical, but we'll see.
Yeah, is that what they call it these days?
Yes, that's just a word.
Just said the doctor about that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's an exciting time at Speedway Tavern as well, of course, because we've got new technology, haven't we, Mr. Chris Browne? Oh, he's not even listening to me.
I am listening, honestly. I am listening.
So would you like to tell our viewers about our new technology and how they can participate even more?
Okay, so if you wish to call in
for free,
it's quite simple. All you do is go to your apps if you're on Android or Apple, and search for Podbean. That's Podbean. Search for the Podbean app, download it, and follow SRB Media. And whenever we go live, you'll see us pop up. Not literally, but you'll see us pop up. Yeah, and you can just join in the chat. It's as simple as call it.
You can join in the chat. It's as simple as that. There's a little
slogan
right
there.
Yeah.
Hey. Could be a guest today. So.
Oh, is that what the smell was?
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I mean, you did it for our sister show on Monday, didn't you?
And it went absolutely fantastic.
So if you want to join in on the show and call in with any of your views, do so. We would love it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We would love it. We'd be quite surprised as well, but we would love it. So obviously this week we're going to talk about the Championship playoffs, the Premier League playoffs, National League playoffs. Well, yes, we've got all of those going on. We've also we have the Cardiff GP. Not the best GP I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. You've ruffled a few feathers, I understand. We also have the Championship pairs, and we can talk about that. Congratulations to Glasgow. And basically anything else that you guys want to talk about. Now, at the beginning of the show, I mentioned the fact that it feels like the end of the season. Well, it is if you're a Birmingham fan, unfortunately. So we've already started wondering about who we're going to sign next year. So that's sort of going to be our topic tonight. Is going to be this season good or bad for your club? Let us know whether you thought that, regardless of what your league position was it a good season or a bad season, and why? And we'll see where we go. And Webby, can you tell people how to take part, please? I just woke him up.
Okay, so if you search on Facebook, just search for UK Speedway Tavern, and you'll find us on various Facebook groups and pages. Not so many this week because I've been banned from sharing.
You naughty boy, naughty boy.
Facebook has placed a ban on me, so our good friend Matt Booker's
I told you not to share them pages before, didn't you?
Yeah. So, or you can find us on srbmedia.com. There you go.
Are we allowed to say what you did to be banned?
No.
Okay. All right.
My wife's listening.
Yes. No, she's not. Right. Okay. So, before we get started, are there any comments up on any of the shout boxes?
God, you're getting me to work tonight, aren't you?
Right.
Yes, we have got a few.
Okay.
Okay.
You're normally more on the ball than this.
I'm sorry. I've got lots to do now. So here we go.
You're probably going to have to read those out because I can't quite see them from here.
Sean Scott said, our second GP did the VIP thing. Great atmosphere. My boys loved it. Met all their heroes. That alone made it worthwhile for me. Racing wasn't the best, but the overall experience was worth the cost. we'll be doing it again next year.
It's not a bad cost actually for
No,
for
it isn't.
GP, is it? You can get tickets from about 20 quid, can't you?
Yeah.
Which is, it's actually not realised that. It's ridiculous. I can now taken my glasses off. Believe it or not, I can now read that, which is just the weirdest thing.
I can't do that myself. So.
Mark Cooper, Cardiff was poor racing. Was the track to blame? Well, you was there.
Mm.
You've ruffled a few feathers saying it wasn't that bad.
I don't think it was anywhere near as bad as some people. I mean, some of the comments I've seen on the BSF have been way over the top. I think with people saying,
That's how surprising.
I know, yeah.
Over the top.
People saying it's
BSF.
time to ditch it and stuff like that. I mean, you get
ditch Cardiff or
ditch Cardiff. Yeah, I mean, you get
what?
You get dull FA Cup finals. That that doesn't mean people are going to say ditch Wembley, does it? So I mean, listen, it's it certainly wasn't the best Cardiff I've seen. The track was very, very slick, especially towards the end. I've seen worse Cardiffs than that. I've seen better Cardiffs than that. I've seen some meetings at Cardiff where the track's been incredibly dangerous as well. So
you've seen a few of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the thing to say about that is, what are you ditching if you ditch Cardiff? You're not really ditching the track. Well, it's just going to be a temporary track wherever it goes.
The Spectre, of course, is that track that's just opened in the last few years up in the north in Manchester.
It's not big enough, crowd-wise.
Listen, if they could get the Bellevue track into Cardiff, it would be a perfect pair, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Bellevue is a fantastic racetrack. I've been to Bellevue a few times, and the racing has always been excellent, but it's not big enough.
No.
You can't get 40,000 people into Bellevue. You can't, whichever way you do the maths, you're not going to be able to do it. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
So where else could you do it? You could do it possibly at Wimbledon. It's going to be the same sort of track as it is at Cardiff. You could do it at Twickenham. It's going to be the same. I mean,
Wembley, you mean? Wembley, you mean, not Wimbledon.
Did I say Wimbledon?
You said Wimbledon, yeah. So.
Let's do it at Wimbledon. I'm going to start a campaign. We should do it at Wimbledon. Yeah. Twickenham, I don't think the rugby authorities would let you, but again, it's going to be the same sort of track at Twickenham. So it's not a lot left, is there?
For me, Cardiff is more than about the racing for me. Yes, obviously, you want the racing to be good. But for me, it's about seeing people that you don't see through the rest of the year, the atmosphere around the city. I've got to say, the one thing I will say about Saturday, I thought the pre-match entertainment was very poor.
Okay,
we've had some very good pre-meeting presentations during the time it's been at Cardiff, which is nearly 20 years, but it was pretty much non-existent.
Okay, that's disappointing.
Which was disappointing. I think the introduction of the rides, even though it was pitch black and you couldn't see anything, was okay. It was better than it was last year when they decided to have them in the crowd and you couldn't see anybody.
Yes.
So there's things to do on that. I think they'll make a real big effort next year for Cardiff, with it being the 20th anniversary, and the atmosphere, the polls as well. I mean, I put my that video on Facebook on Saturday, which I think Webby saw it, of the polls sort of trying to turn Cardiff into Warsaw.
Nobody's surprised.
No, that's it. There, I mean that makes for the atmosphere. Singing and chanting. It was that side of it was great, and of course it would have been nice. I think one of the things that possibly put the downer on it maybe was Ty Buffington didn't really show up, unfortunately, and from seeing his interview afterwards, I think that's probably the most down I've ever seen him. I think he was really, because I think he put a lot of emphasis on.
He wanted to win it, didn't he?
And it's had a nightmare season, but Cardiff was the one opportunity for him to put that right.
And I have to disagree with Calvin Tatum. Unfortunately, I think Ty Buffington should have been excluded. I think the referee got that.
Yeah, I thought that was the right decision. I mean, I was on that bend, and I can see the point that people are saying that Freddie Lindgren he locked up slightly, but I don't think it was enough to really disrupt Ty.
No, I think there's time to react as well.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, can you just go back a little bit further because there was something I wanted to look at. No, back down.
That one?
No, okay, we can go with that. Brian Buck says the track needs some banking installed on the outside in order to eliminate the huge advantage that the inside currently has.
I mean, if you were on Gate 3, you might as well just stayed at the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean...
Alan Norville, I want to talk about this because this is responding to what I asked about good season, bad season.
Yep.
he's disappeared.
Oh,
And
He's
he's
come
back
back
again.
again. Hey.
So he said Glasgow has been good so far, all the away wins. Not having this so far. It's even if Glasgow win or don't win the playoffs, is it a good season? I think you've got to say it's been a good season.
No,
hasn't it?
Glasgow had a good season. I mean, they've been very competitive everywhere they've been, haven't they?
I think that they're my favourites to win the thing, but we'll come on to that.
They were one of the most impressive teams I've seen at Perry Bar. Not the most impressive one I've seen.
Who would you say was the most impressive?
Redcar.
Interesting.
I thought they were excellent.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So,
and I'd love to.
I'll read these because I didn't expect any any chat on the Podbean app. But to be honest, but there is. Yes, okay. Our Blue Ace says the event ATPI put on at the Revolution was brilliant. And also says the track was graded every 4 years and packed down racing lines weren't allowed to form. Oh, wet to form, yeah. He also says can get up to 12,000 need to run both, or why not ditch Cardiff and have 2 or 3 UK GPs at smaller venues? I'd go with that. I think that'd be interesting.
same reason. You can't get 40,000 anywhere else.
Yeah, I suppose he's saying that you'd get 40,000 over the 3 venues, but you still the interest would be for all the Polish people coming over, etc. I just don't think you can do it.
I don't.
Plus the fact,
I just don't.
Who's going to pay out 3 times for the amount of money probably go up as well. So,
as much as having a Grand Prix at Bellevue would be fantastic, I just don't think the numbers add up.
Yeah, I mean, if they sorted the situation with seating and everything, and who knows, maybe they will. I don't know whether the space is there.
How many were there for the World Cup final in 2016? Because they had extra terracing, didn't they? They had some temporary stands. I don't know what the crowd was for. I don't know. It certainly wouldn't have been anywhere near the 40,000. No.
Duncan Pemberton, right? This is the one and only time we mention this show, this word on this show tonight. Okay, he says he solved it. We can have a GP at Bellevue and make it an official Brexit GP. Keep all the Europeans out. Right, so that word doesn't get mentioned again, and neither does that stupid prorogue, whatever it's called. That doesn't get mentioned. That thing. Yeah. Okay. Eric Parsons, Adam and Terra had a great performance. Team places for Birmingham sorted for next season, possibly. I wouldn't be unhappy to see either of those two back. I have a feeling. Well, I'm not going to say that. Lawrence, it's over to you, mate.
Yeah,
we know you're there. We know you're there because Malcolm Bethel, who wants to go to Wembley, London?
One thing that always amuses me is when people say Cardiff's too expensive. If you think Cardiff's expensive, Wembley would be astronomical.
Yes, absolutely.
But, I mean, there's a lot of story-eyed people talk about, the history of Wembley at Speedway. That's gone. It's never ever going to go back to Wembley with the best one in the world.
I can't ever see it. You still get occasionally people complaining about that. They've ripped they put the track and it's made Wembley, and we haven't been there for years. It still happens.
It's nearly 40 years since the last Wembley final. So.
Martin Clyde, don't buy into the philosophy about 40k into Cardiff thing. Bellevue had the Speedway, this is what we was talking about, the Speedway World Cup final in 2016. No worries. Time to put the racing first, then the atmosphere will come with it.
I think the promoters will buy into the philosophy of having 40,000 in the stadium, to be fair.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, I mean, that you can't, it's pure economics, isn't it? Alan Atherton, get 12,000 into Bellevue. Why not ditch Cardiff and have 2 or 3 UK GPs? I just don't think it works.
No, I think it would be madness for them to ditch having a Grand Prix of Cardiff.
If I'm honest, and just to be controversial, I wish I'd ditch the GPs. Don't like them as a thing.
Well, that's another thing altogether, isn't it? So I don't think we'll go into that.
I think we probably will now. I've opened that can of worms.
We've only got 40 minutes left. So.
Oh gosh, it's coming fast and furious tonight. Evening Taverners from a wet Ipswich. Yeah, Jim Torrell.
Evening Jim from a wet Birmingham.
Yes, a very wet Birmingham. Should we just say England is very wet?
It is. Not Speedway weather, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Shame that it got rained off yesterday.
I don't think it was a massive surprise, though, was it?
No, not at all.
Absolutely terrible, to be honest.
Alan Atherton, bad season for Bellevue. Lemon kept hold of Wells for too long, and Birch should have gone too. We was talking about, well, not about those riders, about the fact that it felt strange that Ipswich had qualified and Bellevue hadn't.
Well, when Bellevue came to Wolves and won in, I think it was
talking
May,
the Premiership here, of course, not the National League.
They looked the outstanding team.
Yes,
at that stage, but they just, for whatever reason,
just haven't
been able to push on.
So Alan, why do you think that is? Why do they obviously I'm guess injuries, but yeah, just let us know what you think. Why didn't that happen for Bellevue? Because they just looked so strong. Jeff Daniels, NSS can hold up to 10,000 with the temporary stands like it was for the 2016 World Cup team final. It's not all about big crowds. Krishko, let's say you pronounce that. I never could work that one out.
Slovenia, that is.
Yeah, 2,000 there. Gustro, 6,000 to 7,000. It's not all about size of crowd it can attract.
Not a great fan of Krishko either, to be honest. As a tracker, but that's another story.
See, that's easy for you to say that. But the promoters ain't going to look at it. They just won't look at it that way.
They're not going to take the risk when there's still 40,000 people willing to.
And the only way
Union Jacks around,
the only way that would work, of course,
yeah,
for the promoters, if they doubled the price of the tickets. To
by the way, I would say I think the crowd was up at Cardiff on Saturday. There was definitely more in there than there was last year.
And so we get lots of different estimates now. And Atherton reckons there was 8,000 in the Speedway of Nations. It's not 40,000. It's a good crowd.
Yeah,
it is a good crowd by Speedway terms, but it's not 40,000. And
yeah, I mean, as I've said before, for me, the atmosphere and the occasion for me makes.
You sounded like you was a little bit disappointed about that this year, though. With the before.
Yeah, I was disappointed with that side of it. Yeah, I was disappointed with that side of it. There's no doubt about that. I think they could have done better with that. But
should have done better.
Yeah, maybe. As I say, I think they will make a big effort with it next year for the anniversary. So,
gosh, a good turnout for Ty's book signing at the Trafford Centre, Manchester, last Wednesday. He still commands a lot of support.
Absolutely, yeah, and you got a great reception.
And you got to say he's been all over the different medias all week. He's been on BBC One. He's been on Talk Radio. He's done a lot of things. Yeah. He'll make a great promoter.
I've got to say, Ty is very media savvy. I think he's really taken to that side of it, like with Dr. Warden. To be honest, he's really impressed me.
That's a very good point, actually, that Ben T-Boy Clifton makes. Cardiff and its roof means no chance of losing money in a rain on.
Absolutely, that's something else.
That's a big plus, isn't it?
Yeah. Although in fairness, I mean, I've been to every single Cardiff GP since it started there, and I don't think there's been a bad weather at any of them. Of course, they've moved it back to the normal time next year. So
I think there is possibly a case for keeping Cardiff and adding another British GP.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Else. That would be possibly doable. Maybe at Bellevue.
Bellevue is the obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Alan Atherton says, I agree with ditching Cardiff. Could UK cope with Cardiff and NSS 4 months apart? Well, yeah, I think it probably could. So, Andy Hay, Cardiff has the roof guaranteed meeting on. Yep, you just as a promoter.
That's a nice little insurance policy to have, isn't it?
As a promoter, that's just.
I think there's several promoters in British Speedway who wish they had a roof on their stadiums, to be honest. So.
Yes, I think yes. Particularly at this moment in time.
Can I just say as well, I thought Charles Wright acquitted himself really well.
Didn't he?
He ran really well. Yeah. Obviously faded a bit towards the end, but I mean that got the crowd going definitely.
Yeah, well, we could hear that. It was. Anthony Bailey says the crowd at Cardiff was up by 4,000, so that sort of confirms.
Yeah,
what you were saying.
Yeah, visibly. I mean, I haven't seen the figures officially, but visibly there looked to be a lot more there. I think a lot more polls came over because, of course, it's it could have been a decisive round, and there's a good chance we can have another Polish world champion this year.
So, just changing the subject just slightly, we're going to have a look at the playoffs in a bit. But since that's what we're going to be doing in our little prediction, we'll just have a longer We'll do that for longer and talk about the playoffs then.
Yep.
During that, I think that would be a good idea. Not enough dirt on Cardiff, said Eric Parsons. Speedway bikes today are not suitable for deep tracks.
What would really help Cardiff for me is if they can have another meeting there beforehand. Now, I think a couple of years ago they did have a trial meeting there, didn't they? The day before. I don't know whether I know they did it one year. I can't remember whether they did it another year as well. And
To help pack it in.
To help pack it in and just sort of, generate a little bit of dirt. But as I say, I mean, I don't think it wasn't a fantastic meeting by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But
there was a lot of nearly passing going on, but not quite getting
I
there.
don't think it was anywhere near as bad as some people have said. But that's just me. I mean, a lot of people think I talk rubbish anyway, so I do sometimes.
Sean Simmer Simpson.
No, you went really quiet when you said that.
I know, yeah. Must be the sides I cleverly created there.
Yes. I think people are missing the point. What if it rains like now? Need a stadium with a roof, which leaves where?
Yeah.
Wimbledon.
Stop mentioning Wimbledon.
Okay. Duncan Pemberton says, Matt, did you witness any football mentality behaviour from the Polish fans? Lots of comments and complaints on Facebook Sunday morning.
One thing I will say, there were a section of the Polish fans that booed the Danish national anthem, which I thought was disappointing. Not many, but you could hear it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sort of thing England fans get criticised for, isn't it? Booing the opposition national anthem.
It seems to be.
I didn't like that, to be honest. But they, listen, the Poles are fantastic spirit supporters, aren't they? They love the sport. They're very, very partisan. They're probably more partisan even than the English fans are, or British fans are, to be honest. And
I don't think British fans are particularly partisan because these are riders that they would cheer in their own club.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be that case, not so much now, but so which sort of
I've been at Cardiff when I've seen British fans hammering British riders because they don't ride for their clubs.
Right.
You wouldn't get that with the Polish fans. No. They root for all of their riders.
Brian Buck says people need to. Has he got anything better to do?
No, I don't think so.
That's just reminded me of something. People need to understand that the GP series is run by a commercial company who need it to be profitable and at venues which will attract large crowds in order to encourage sponsors. Sponsorship is crucial for an event like this. Yeah, that's what we were saying, really. It's absolutely. What about talking about the pairs, said Alan Norval. Brilliant idea. It's exactly where I was going to come on to. By all accounts, I mean, I didn't go to it, first of all, so is there anybody out there? Obviously, Mr. Lawrence went there.
Yep.
Give us an idea of what the track was and the racing and everything. You've got to say congratulations to Glasgow, and you'll remind me who comes second.
Leicester, wasn't it?
Was Leicester, yep. And obviously
Birmingham
the best
third.
team came third.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I've got to say there's been, about Birmingham come third, I wasn't actually that surprised. I thought that's a fairly strong duo of Adam Ellis and Tero Arnia.
Tero Arnia has ended the season well, hasn't he?
He really, really has. And possibly booked himself a position for next year.
Who knows?
Lawrence?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to tell you. I don't think he's going to tell you.
Of course he's not.
Yeah. I think he'd have Mr. Mason on the phone if he did. So.
But, yeah. I think Glasgow. I know there's been a lot of. I'm going to get slightly controversial, perhaps. Here. There's been a lot of things said about Colin Cook and certain incidents, and
we need to talk about that as well, don't we?
Yes, absolutely. But I actually was pleased for him because I think I feel like he's gone through an awful lot at the end of this season.
Yeah.
And so I was glad to see him riding well, given the problems that he had at Wolverhampton, which have been well documented. And he was right to appeal. Then we'll talk about it now. It appears that he was right to appeal because basically they've taken the ban off him. They've given him a fine, which is undisclosed. I don't think. And there's not a lot. The unfortunate thing is that there's not a lot we can say about it because we don't know anything other than those basic facts.
The big disappointment for me was the statement from the BSBA because it just didn't say anything, did it?
No.
It was almost like, this is what we're doing. Why? Because we said so.
Yeah, well, is anybody particularly surprised about that?
That's one of the things where the BSBA, for me, let themselves down.
Yeah.
Is that, they make decisions, but they don't explain them.
No, and even if it was a case of we base this decision on some personal aspects that we can't talk about, at least you know that, that's as much as you need. And I'm guessing that's what it was. We don't know what, but something. Otherwise, you've got this vacuum again. Duncan Pemberton says, have the championship pairs on the Friday night at Cardiff.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not actually a bad idea,
No.
is it? Somerset wouldn't be very happy about that, but it's interesting idea.
I know they have the qualifying there on the Friday now, but I mean, it would be. Because I suppose the other argument, of course, is that how long do they have the stadium for? Because I think within 24 hours of the meeting, they had to be out there. Had to be out the place, didn't they? So
I think your dad's calling you a liar. He's saying, did not see any boring behaviours from the Polish fans. They were very boisterous and noisy, but generally good humour.
yeah, they were. That's just the one thing that disappointed me was the. So not raucous boom, but there was some. I did hear a little bit.
And I presume well lubricated as well. It seems to be.
They're Polish.
Yes.
They're Polish, yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah.
Have you been to Poland?
Eric Pass says not much chance of a profit from Cardiff, I should think.
Well, I think they've had it there for 20 years. I don't think they'd have back to lose a horse like that for 20 years. So.
No. Mark Robinson says, if you took time to look, plenty of dirt, foot thick up against the kickboards, rung shale or not enough water in
there
it.
was a lot of dirt I saw at the side of the track, but whether that was just riders not going out far enough.
They seem to be watering it quite a lot from what I saw.
Yeah.
Calvin Tatum, bless his soul, commented on it several times.
Yeah.
But I mean, you couldn't really tell from the TV pictures that I saw what was happening with the dirt. But if it's on against the kickboards, it's not actually doing any good there. It's not doing anybody any good there.
Just to play devil's advocate for a minute as well, the previous Grand Prix was on a conventional speedway track at Voynes, and the racing was pretty poor.
It was pretty poor, actually.
I think Cardiff. Personally, I think Cardiff was a better meeting than Voynes.
Maybe people's expectations are
I think so.
A bit higher.
I think so. Yeah.
Alan Atherton, BSI make 500,000 a year profit according to Company's House. Oh, well, there you go.
Should we see if there's any jobs?
Yeah. Eric Parsons, Wright would have scored more if the track had shale on it. Not sure that he would have. I don't know, but that's a ifs and buts. Paul PVR Racing, every one of us got a beer bath from the polls.
I didn't. I don't know where
you sound disappointed. You sound disappointed.
I'm not keen on beer, so.
Mark Cooper, the Polish fans around me were excellent, great atmosphere and well behaved. Well, I think it's just it swings and roundabouts. So Polish fans are like everybody else.
Yeah,
you got the good and the bad. You've got their Birmingham fans and their Cradley fans. And it's the good and the bad. Just trying to upset some Cradley fans might get them on. Who knows? Okay. Only Warsaw has a roof like Cardiff, so it's nonsense to say NSS could be rained off. Well, it's not nonsense to say it could be rained off. If it had been on today, it would have been rained off.
At the risk of upsetting the Belfry fans, it is Manchester.
Yeah,
it has unfortunately got a track record.
He went there. He went there. Oh, God.
It was just a gaping hole. I had to go for it. So. Sorry, Belfry fans.
I don't think you can say that it would. Of course, it could be rained off. If there's no roof, it can rain, and it can be rained off.
Just checking.
What are you just checking?
Who you wolf whistling now?
It works.
Sean Simmer Simpson, my son thought the Polish guys had songs for riders, etc., and made the atmosphere, whereas most Brits just moaned at air horns and noise. Somebody asked about that. Air horns,
yeah.
I'm not a fan of them, to be honest. I don't really understand the point in sounding your air horn to let the dogs out. If I'm being brutally honest, but I suppose each to their own. If people like to do that, then fair enough. Obviously, they're not allowed at a lot of tracks in the UK. So,
Paul PVR. Okay, we'll talk about this actually. I've been interested to get people's opinions. The track was brilliant at Somerset, and the Browne pair should have been in the final. Crap second and third rule. So that's the 4-3-2-1, 4-3-2.
yeah, this is what happened wasn't this what happened in the Speedway Nations last year, which stopped us winning the gold medal?
Yeah. So obviously Adam Ellis won that, but their two packed second and third, which gave them more points. I don't know. I mean, it would sound like sour grapes for me. So I'm not. There is something about that system that helps with the team riding aspect of the thing. So I do think it's swings and roundabouts a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the jury's still out on that for me. But what are your opinions on that? Alan Atherton, the handling of the whole Cook-Vissing-Kennett issue was handled incorrectly. Yep. Didn't Vissing and Kennett both get a ban?
They did, yeah, but Vissing was told he couldn't appeal.
Yeah.
So I think he's entitled to feel a little bit
aggrieved,
miffed now.
Yeah.
Well, if he can appeal, why can't I? Then it's
yeah, that works as well.
Okay. Are they actually hearing that as well?
Yes.
That's cool. I like it. Rod Hart said it was great racing at the pairs. John Hurst Cook had Buster Chapman, the chairman, on his side. He said, this is right there. Right there. That's it. I was hoping somebody would say something. We don't know that.
No, we don't.
We don't know that.
We don't know anything that's
We don't
happened,
know anything, and that's the problem. Yeah. It could be true. I've got no way of knowing, and that's the problem. Once you have a vacuum, something fills it. People work things out in their mind, come to their own conclusions. 2 + 2 = 5, or it might be 4, or it might be 6. We don't know. And that's the problem with British Speedway all the way down the line. That's the thing that makes fans infuriated and makes them make up their own things.
Yep.
It needs to change. It really does. A Polish fan once told me, this is Duncan Pemberton, they are great for the economy of any country as they don't save their money, they spend it on alcohol and cigarettes. Okay. Peter Sparks, would some banking help or a bit wider?
Well, the problem is, of course, is that your stadium's already there, so you've got to sort of work within the limits of the stadium because it's...
Well, the only way you'd make it wider is making the track smaller, on the inside, I mean.
Yeah, of course.
I think the next comment, he talks about that.
But banking would possibly help, I would guess.
It would help, I think, yeah. So as long as it wasn't too,
Alan Atherton says close the bottom tier and make the track bigger.
Well, don't forget the first sort of 10 rows of the bottom tier are
but
closed.
You can't just take them out, can you? I wouldn't have thought.
I don't think you can now. I know that the pitch is on pallets, which is how they move them to build the track, to be honest. But that's something for them to maybe have a look at, to be honest, for next year and for future Cardiffs.
Lawrence Rogers makes the point, of course, there is one more meeting in 2019 at Perry Barn next Wednesday. Cradley versus Leicester playoff semi-final. Second leg.
Is it the second leg?
It is the second leg, I think Cradley will already be out of it by then, possibly. I don't know what to say about that. It's a weird one. I've heard a lot of Cradley fans complaining about it, and I feel, as a Birmingham fan, I feel a little bit aggrieved. I'll go somewhere else then. Yeah. But hey ho. Brian Book, scoring for the pairs should surely be 4-2-1. A win would always be worth more than second and third. Well, then you might as well just make it 3-2-1.
Might as well, yeah.
It would be exactly, I suppose it'd be 3-3 then. 4-2, yeah. But that, I don't know. I really, I can't work out what I think about that, because I like the idea of it encouraging the team riding, which I think 4-3-2 does. I don't know.
Don't
What
know
do you
much, do
think?
you?
No, I don't. I swing one way and the other.
No.
What do you mean tonight? Right, we
I don't know why you bother
should we
coming,
should
really.
start looking at the playoffs. I think. Before we do, a very important thing. Peter Craven.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know whether anybody can see, but I've got Peter Graven emblazed on my
Chest is the word
my
you're looking
chest
for,
there.
but
It's
hardly.
but it of course it is the anniversary of the Wizard of Bounce's death today. On this day, 56 years ago, 1963. Of course, he had a crash at Edinburgh whilst racing in a challenge meeting for the Bellevue Aces and sustained those, serious head injuries, which sadly he didn't recover from.
Probably the sport's first superstar.
Well, from British superstar, yeah. I mean, it's one rider that I would love to have seen race live.
Before
I mean,
anybody
you see any footage of him. You see any footage of him there, and he was, it looks fantastic to watch. And was light as well. I mean, not that many world champions are universally popular either. He's probably one of the few that was, even with his peers. I know that Overfunden and Barry Briggs both had whilst they didn't like each other, they both had a huge amount of respect for him, and I think for Ronnie Moore as well. So, rest in peace, Peter.
There we go. Right. Shall we start talking about the playoffs? And what we'll do is we'll do our normal prediction thing.
Should we do league order first?
We can do. I suppose we should look at the table, haven't we?
Can I just interject?
Yes, of course you can.
Well, I've been sitting here waiting for my cake to come in, and it just hasn't arrived. My special cake for my special day.
Oh, it's his birthday today, by the way.
Nothing. I'm still waiting.
Well,
nothing. Not even a happy birthday.
Okay.
Off Matt, yes,
when
off
you
Matt,
walked in,
yes,
look.
yeah.
Okay.
I expected off Matt, but
Okay, right. Look, here we go. I was going to wait until after the show. I didn't want to embarrass you. But you're going to have to carry on waiting, mate.
We'll give him the bumps after the.
Wow. Desperate, eh?
Oh,
Desperate.
Desperate.
Shall we go to the league table?
Our league table.
Yes.
Our league table.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Okay. Then.
Neither do you now, do you, really?
There you
You was top for such a long time.
It's on now.
Yeah, you're expecting me to see that, are you?
There you go. Can you see that? Yeah.
So we have Ben Clifton at the top. And then how the hell did you
Where
get...
have you come from?
What's happened?
I don't know what's happened. I'm sort of following my team. I think I'm just making a late surge. So.
Is that... I mean... You're the one that collates all this. Do we need a recount or anything?
My figures are here. They're fine.
Yes, your figures that I'm worried about, to be honest.
Well, it's Excel's figures because I'm using it off I'm doing it on a spreadsheet. So
Paul PVR in third, Webby in fourth, and I don't really think any need to go any further than that.
I think we should go down to about 11th. I think.
No, let's not bother going down to 11th.
So Ben's odds on, really, isn't he?
Yep.
You got a chance.
Yeah, I think Ben's got it myself. You never know, but I mean, how many more weeks are we going to do it? So
there's only another week, isn't there? Maybe two.
1 week or two. Depends. We're going to go until the end of the playoffs, aren't we? So it just depends on how long with this weather. Who knows?
We'll carry on as long as we've got meaningful.
I think as long as I can beat Michael.
Right. So let's go in data. Oh, by the way, somebody by the name of Brian Buck says that the Cradley leg is the first leg, so I'm sure I saw some information.
I wasn't sure if it was the first one or the second one.
I'm sure I saw some information to know that, but
I wouldn't make Leicester favourites for that, though. To be fair,
no. Well, we'll talk about that as we go through. So we'll do a little bit of discussion.
Well, that fixture isn't amongst them, so
okay.
So should we go date order or should we go league order? Okay, so the first one is the first championship playoff semi-final, and that is Somerset against Glasgow.
Okay, and since you're now top of the order, you should go first.
Ooh, I've gone Somerset by 8.
Okay. Mr. Chris Browne?
I'll go Somerset by 6.
Somerset by 6.
Mr. GA?
It's the first leg, says Rogers. Lawrence.
I'm going to go...
Okay.
Thank you, Lawrence. I'm going to go Somerset by 6.
So you've gone the same as Webby then?
Same as Webby, yeah.
Copying me now.
Okay, the second...
the points
okay, so that is tomorrow. So then Thursday is now the first leg of the first Premiership playoff, and that is Ipswich against Poole. Is it Ipswich against Poole, or is it Poole against Ipswich?
I don't know. You've got the information there.
No, it's Ipswich against Poole, sorry.
Okay, Ipswich against Poole.
Doesn't mean it's right.
Webby, Ipswich versus Poole.
I'll go Poole by 6.
That'd be the tie over right there, wouldn't it?
Gotta go for it.
Ipswich, you go for Poole or Poole, sorry.
Poole, he said.
Poole.
All right.
I'm doing this with no great conviction. I just want to keep the tie alive.
You're just desperate to get some points.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Ipswich by 2.
Ooh.
Shall we just have a little chat about that, actually? Because was that a good move by Ipswich when they went to Poole in the regular league match, and they just decided not to do any tacticals or any messing about with their? They wanted them all to have the full ride.
I think that was.
Oh,
quite
apparently,
true.
it's Poole at home. Apparently.
Poole at home. So.
Yeah. So
Okay.
No, we've got to change that then. For
that
goodness
makes a
sake.
difference.
Oh, we can't all get it right.
No, you can't.
I know, yeah. It's all that many
So
times over
Poole
the
by Chris, you'll go.
I'll go. What did I say before?
You said
You said Ipswich by 20 last time. So.
You know what? I'm gonna go Poole by 4.
I will say Poole by 10.
Right, I will go Poole by. I'm going to go Poole by 10 as well. I think on that one. So I think it was a good. Sorry, I think it was a good move by Ipswich to do that. To be fair,
They might as well,
and to learn the track as well, because the most important thing was not to get any more injuries.
It was
just to make
interesting,
sure.
wasn't it? Because Sargent looked all at sea,
Yeah.
and then he had his last race, and he made a gate,
Mm.
and he looked. So that you have to wonder how shrewd a move that was. Whether that's
Absolutely. So
okay.
Okay, so the next one.
Yep.
Next one is the second of the first legs in the Championship playoffs. That is Redcar against Leicester.
Redcar versus Leicester. Now, Redcar, you reckon's the most impressive team you've seen at Perry Bar this year?
Yes.
So I'll go for a Leicester. It's going to be a tight.
That's a tight one there. They're both tough players to be
And
fair,
of course,
but-
Redcar have got a few injury problems, but they've chose their guests well. I've got Jake Allen, Michael Palmtoft, and Brock Nichols going to run both legs.
Yeah.
But I do think guests, it's never quite the same. However, I'm going to say Redcar to win by 8.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've gone Leicester to win by 4.
Okay.
Oh, I've gone with Browne as well. Leicester by 6.
Okay, so the second leg of the other Championship playoff is Glasgow against Somerset.
Okay, and this is down to you again.
Ooh, I'll go Glasgow by 12, I think, on that one, which will put Glasgow into the final.
So your prediction is Glasgow into the final?
Yep. Who's next? Yeah, is it Murphy next?
No, it's Mr.
Oh, I'll go Glasgow by 10.
Which you also predict Glasgow into the final.
Yep.
I'm going to say Glasgow by 12.
So we've all gone fairly same, haven't we? So, but so everybody put yours up on the.
Yes,
on
keep
the-
them up. What they have been. It's some interesting comments coming up there. Next one.
Okay, the next one is the second leg of the first Premiership semi-final.
I've actually before just to say, for me, I know everybody's been saying Leicester all season, but I've just got this feeling Glasgow are going to win the thing.
I would have agreed with you up until about 6 weeks ago.
Right.
I think the crowd.
That's the first time you ever said you'd agree with me.
Yeah, and then I came to his senses. So, but I just think the whole thing with Craig Cook maybe has upset the apple cart a little.
Possibly,
bit.
but I think that pairs with.
Possibly,
You
yeah.
see, I
That's
think
a fair
that
point.
pairs
To be,
with-
that is
you
a
know.
fair point. To be fair. Okay, so Ipswich against Poole, the second leg.
Ipswich versus Poole.
You, I think.
Yes, it is, mate. I'm going to say Ipswich by 2, which is what I said in the first time. The first time you got it wrong.
Yeah. So that would put Poole
Into the.
Yep. Okay, who's next?
That's you.
Ooh, I will go Ipswich by 6.
Okay.
Ipswich will make a good fight of it, but I think Poole will just have enough in the first leg.
It's interesting.
I'll go Ipswich by 4.
Also, you're saying there'll be a run-off or golden heats.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
which has never happened before.
Came close.
It came close last year, and then Chris Harris decided to throw a spanner in the works, didn't he?
Didn't
So,
he? Wow, that was something. That
obviously,
was.
weren't any hard feelings because Somerset signed him a few weeks later. So, okay, so
Okay.
the next one is the second leg of the other championship semi-final. That's Leicester against Redcar.
And this is down to me, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Leicester by 14, which puts Leicester in the final.
Yeah,
That's me.
Yep. No, it's Matt.
I've gone Leicester by 16, which would also put Leicester in the final.
I'll go Leicester by. Who is it? Leicester what?
Redcar.
Leicester. I'll go Leicester by 12.
Okie dokie. Okay, so next up is the first National League player semi-final.
Mm-hmm.
Bellevue against Kent. That's going to be a tight one. That's a tough one to
isn't
call,
it,
that is.
eh? It's a tough
Because I
one.
would have had Kent down as the favourites to win it.
But
Bellevue, good side.
Yeah.
Done well this season in the National League.
Mr. Flint are doing really well for them. Who's this up to?
Me, I think, isn't it?
I can't think it is, yeah.
I'm gonna say what you normally say. I'm going to go for a draw.
Interesting.
Yep, that one.
Okay. Webby?
I'll go Bellevue by 2.
This is really bad because I was thinking I might go for a draw and you went for a draw. Then I was thinking, okay, well, I'll go Bellevue by 2. And he pops up with 2.
You can still say it.
I know I
Go
can.
on.
I know I can. And it actually makes no difference because I'm so far behind. It's just ridiculous. I'm going to say a draw.
You're going to go for a draw
I'm
as
going to
well.
go for a draw.
Okay. So the next one is the meeting that I'll be at on Monday. It's the other semi-final in the Premiership. Wolves against Swindon.
I really feel that you should go first on this. I'd like to see you square.
I'm going to go Wolves by 10.
Okay.
I'm going to chance my arm on this one, I think.
I think you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah.
I'll go Wolves by 8.
Okay. I'm going to go Swindon by 16 now. Yeah, I actually go Wolves by 4.
And of course, the second leg of that will be next Thursday. And of course, we'll be talking about that on the show next week. So, And the last one is the second leg of the first National League semi-final. That's Kent against Bellevue.
Chris?
I'll go Bellevue by 4.
So you're putting Bellevue in the final. GA.
I'm going to go draw.
So that'd be Golden Eights again, or do they do that?
Golden
They do
Eights,
that
yeah.
in National League. Do they?
I don't know. I have no idea. That it might be a... Lawrence, do they do Golden Heats in the National League?
I've gone for Kent by 4, so that puts Kent through into the final. But that's a tough one to call, that is.
I feel like I've sat on the fence just a little bit there, but that's going to be down to an engine failure or somebody touching the gate. Or
Yeah, I think it's a bit closer than the other semi-final in that league, to be fair. But
yes.
I'm not having to go at the Crowley fans, but
No, what if that they are where they are? I mean, I think they surprised themselves getting to the final.
yeah, it's a bit of a bonus,
to the-
isn't it,
not to
really?
the final,
So they've got
to the
nothing,
bonus.
really, Crowley have got nothing to lose, have they? So
This is true.
So-
And sometimes that helps. Right, so we're predicting Glasgow versus Leicester.
yeah.
And we haven't got any more predictions yet because they're not all complete. So I would say I think the final's going to be Paul Swindon, if I'm honest. What do you reckon?
I think it will be, to be fair.
And that concludes this week's predictions. Oh,
Well,
I was hoping it was going to be a referee's whistle, but
well, hope, eh? False hope.
It's the hope that,
Let's hope that can. Yeah.
yeah.
a few predictions. Simon says Leicester by 8. Alan Norvell says Leicester by 8. Jeff says Leicester by, I can't work that one out because it's too much maths involved.
You could have just read it out.
Ipswich people, Ipswich by 8 is Paul. Kent v Bellevue. Kent by 6 says Jeremiah Bullfrog with the best name on tonight's chat box.
Feel like we should give him a prize, but we haven't got any.
No.
Matt's glasses. No?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe, I don't know. Cradley have been rubbish since the pork butties went, says Duncan Pemberton.
Oh,
I
In all the years I went to Dudleywood, I never had a pork sandwich.
have we ever had a conversation about the food at different meetings?
No, that's
Oh,
a good
come
one.
on.
That's a good one. That's a good
On
one.
the football show we do. We sometimes do a rate my pie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it very difficult to talk about the food at Birmingham because obviously I'm on the centre green, so I never actually get the chance to.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but not good things about
No,
it.
no,
but-
no, it's never been good, has it? No.
I think they have made improvements this year. Maybe you can comment because you.
I don't buy the food
Right.
anymore, to be honest. So
What? That's a good one. What are the thoughts
New-
on new GB manager?
forgotten about that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
we are idiots, aren't we? So.
Oh yes.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's Stead and
Just
Ollie
put you
Allen.
two in that equation, please. Thank
Ollie
you.
Allen.
Interesting.
Both ex-riders, of course, which
With
I
recent
guess-
experience as well. So
Jim says, "Can you please stop the whistling? It's annoying the dog. He keeps wanting to go out."
You've got to do it again, haven't you?
No, I'm never going to do that again.
Yeah.
they're obviously already in part of the. Well, Ollie Allen is part of the setup anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it could be a very shrewd appointment.
I've not heard, because obviously there's been a lot said about the Ty Woffenden, Alan Rossiter situation. I haven't heard any intimation of whether he thinks this is a good or a bad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a bold move, isn't it? It's normally been a promoters, so it's very different. I mean, they're not promoters, are they?
Yeah, well, we have had joint team managers before because we had Colin Pratt and Eddie Burkett there with the joint. In fact, I think they were joint managers when we won the World Cup in the last time.
I think Calvin Tatum mentioned that.
Yeah. By the way, I mentioned this last week. I thought that was fantastic. They did it Bradford last week on the anniversary of Black Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that. That was really nice.
Yeah, it was
for
really
those
nice
that
touch.
haven't seen the pictures, check it out. They put all the flags.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously the Eric Gunderson
Crash.
incident. And,
Yeah. Can you believe it's 30 years ago?
Unfortunately, this keeps happening to me. Can you believe it's many years? So I'm getting to the point where, I can now, actually, unfortunately. Alan Atherton says, Ollie Allen's been around a while. Great guy too. And then I can't read anymore. And I'm not going to because we can talk about where because he's not listening to us. Yeah.
Sorry?
I'm trying to read Alan Atherton's comments there. Yeah. What great guy, good for a phone call. Oh, yes. Yeah. Right. That is a good idea. I'm writing down as we speak, as you can see. I will see what I can do. I'll have a word with my mate Lawrence, see if he can help me with that one. Jeremiah Bullfrog keeps saying Cook had a bad time. Ask for a poll on how popular he is, and the answer of yes or no will do. By the way, cracking interview with Cribby last week. Get him back on.
Was it?
It was good. Yeah, both him and Phil Earn were fantastic. Or 2 weeks ago, I should say.
We could probably do a whole
series
evening with the series.
Yeah. Start off with the first, Jerry. He was absolutely
week by week.
Great value, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ben Wilcox, hopefully with the new team GB managers, will arrange more test matches for the rest of the British riders to gain experience.
Yeah, I've long been an advocate of getting the test matches back on the schedule if time allows.
It would seem a no-brainer, wouldn't it? It would seem like something that you could get press interested in, and like they used to be. Test matches, England versus Australia test match. Surely that's worth some press time.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, obviously, we're both old enough to remember the tests against the Yanks.
Yeah. Yes. With Kenny Carter and Bruce Pennell not really enjoying each other's company much, and actually some of the British riders not enjoying.
Oh yeah, Duncan's talking there about the legend that is Kelly Moran.
It was his birthday on the 21st. Oh, Kelly Moran.
Yeah, much missed.
Best rider I've ever seen.
No. I mean, I only saw Kelly ride once, and unfortunately, he was past his best by the time I saw him. But I mean, the footage I've seen for him,
the shapes he pulls on that bike was just
spectacular. I mean,
unbelievable.
To be fair, both him and Sean were spectacular. I mean, I saw Sean ride quite a few times, and although you'd have to say Sean was the more successful of the two, I suppose
everybody said that Kelly Moran was the. Ivan Major said Kelly Moran's got more talent in his little finger than I got in the whole of my body. That's Ivan Major said that. So. Eric Parsons, Woffenden should not be in the GB team as he does not ride here. End of. Rubbish. How many footballers don't play in England and play for other teams and then still play for England? Happens. And happens in other sports as well.
I think Ty played a big part in us getting the silver medal in the World Cup, and in the Speedway Nations last year as well.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I would love to have Ty. I think he should be riding in Britain.
I certainly think he should ride in the British Championship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a sad loss that he doesn't. But no, you can't say your best rider and just say no just because you're riding somewhere else. We're not. Can't do that. That's not. I don't agree with that. I'm afraid. And hello, what's going on here?
I'm afraid it is now.
Oh gosh! Wow,
Time to go.
Yeah, time to go. When you're having fun. So, okay, just to say, there's a lot of more comments on the shout box.
We do try and get to all of that, or
just,
as many as we can. It's just we're overwhelmed sometimes. I think.
Yeah, it's. But thank you for participating.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your comments. You never know, we might get around to some of them next week if they're still relevant. Thank you again. Good luck to all the teams in the playoffs. And I said I wasn't going to say this because it seems to, but I'm going to say it. No more injuries. Take care, everyone. Bye.